Hello, my name is Blaze, and I'm a brony. If you don't like it, I don't care. Thanks for the view. But if you like it, if you're a brony yourself, well, hi. Hello, fellow brony member. How are you? Hope your day's been great. No doubt you clicked on this video expecting a reading, which you will get. It's just going to be a little bit, because I have to introduce myself. I'm going to be reading one of my favorite fan fictions from the brony community, Vinyl and Octavia University Days. I love this fan fiction with a passion. Reading it, however, will be a challenge, because I suck at public speaking and reading out loud, so I hope you guys get to have fun with how I read and stuff. So without further interruption, I hope you guys enjoy. Chapter 1. The West Manhattan universities were impeccable, to say the least. Perched atop a huge plateau of grassland just outside the city proper, it was a marvel of engineering and art. The most obvious features were the Pegasus lecture theaters and labs that floated above the rest of the campus. Hang on, I have to get repositioned. I'm going to edit that out. The large bushy cord in the center, dotted with trees in a small stream. By the way, I stutter like a bitch, so yeah. And from which the rest of the university radiated outwards, along two main paths that intersected in the middle. And of course, the vast array of abstract art pieces littered at seemingly random places throughout the court. It was the beginning of a new year, and all the first years were nervously shuffling about glancing at the maps. Okay, hang on. It was the beginning of a new year, and all the first years were nervously shuffling about and glancing at maps, occasionally gathering the courage to ask for directions. All the first years, that is, except for two. The first was an earth pony with fur like pale ash and a straight mane of charcoal. Around her neck was a pink bow tie attached to a white collar. It was the only piece of clothing she wore, but it was really all she needed to wear. Every single step she took was precise and official. Every single step she took was precise and official. Okay. And despite her comparative youth, she gave the sense that she was much, much more sophisticated, there we go, than any pony else. That's not to say she was conceited. On the contrary, she was exceedingly polite and friendly to all who dared speak to her. She directed other first years to their rooms rather than having already memorized the entire campus guide herself, and helping others feel more at ease in the atmosphere, I can't talk, that was so vastly different from high schools many of them had recently graduated from, herself included. Her name was Octavia, and she was a cellist, studying musical theory, classical, history, and strangely enough, psychology. Hang on, I gotta scroll. The second pony was a white-furred unicorn with electric blue mane that spoke of 1,000 parties gone by and 1,000,000 to come, covering her eyes with a pair of dark purple shades that hid everything and revealed nothing. She walked confidently but carelessly, nodding to a beat that nobody else could hear. Those who approached her received a grin and a hoof bump. Those who didn't could only watch in admiration as she dominated the area around her without even saying a word. That's not to say she was controlling. On the contrary, she was extremely. Alright, second try. She was extremely relaxed and easygoing whenever some pony spoke to her. She exchanged passing comments regarding bands, artists, and other music enthusiasts. who spotted her 6 hoof bands, but never stayed for long. A high school dropout, she was there on a lucky music scholarship and knew what she was talking about when it came to electronic tunes. Her name was Vinyl, and she was a DJ studying musical theory, modern, drawing, and strangely enough, psychology as well. Thanks, Belle gets saucy. Nah, I'm just kidding. Having a little bit of fun. Hope you guys are liking it so far. They met for the first time outside the lecture theater, brushing shoulders as they left. Neither said a word, and they forgot about each other completely within minutes of it. A more lasting impression was made outside of a tutorial room. As they waited for the tutor to arrive, 23 ponies, including them, were also gathered in somewhat awkward silence. Determined not to simply be part of the crowd, Octavia turned to face the pony nearest her, which just so happened to be Vinyl. "Hello, I'm Octavia. A pleasure to meet you," she said, pleasantly extending a hoof. Rather than shake it, the white unicorn slugged into a flashed smile. "Sup, name's Vinyl Scratch. You've probably heard of me." Gingerly putting her aching hoof back down, Octavia shook her head. "No, I'm afraid I haven't." "Does DJ Pone 3 ring a bell? Or is... that's something I never got. Is it DJ Pone 3 or DJ Pony? I don't know." Her eyebrows bounced as if to jog the cellist's memories. "No? You need to hit some clubs then. My music guarantees a good time." In my experience, hitting some clubs is rarely synonymous with positive emotions and experiences. The DJ cocked her head curiously. "Why do you talk like that? It sounds kind of silly." Octavia frowned as she replied, "Talk like what? This is how I normally speak." Snorting back a laugh at her expression, Vinyl slowly realized she wasn't being fooled. "Oh wow, so were you born in Canterlot or something?" "No, I was born here in Manhattan. Though thank you for the compliment," she preened happily as being mistaken for a Canterlot citizen. "Uh-huh, no worries." The DJ realized they clearly had very different opinions on what being from Canterlot meant. Thankfully, she was rescued by the sudden arrival of their tutor. He was a tall stallion with frizzy red hair and orange fur. Each step he took seemed to bounce off the ground, and his tail swished non-stop with boundless energy. Every iota of his being screamed, "Let's get ready to learn!" Oh God, what have I done? The ponies shuffled inside and took their seats at 3 large tables arranged in an abstract manner. Octavia smartly sat next to her new acquaintance and pulled out her notepad and pen while Vinyl sighed and dumped her saddlebag on the desk. Oh God. Alright folks, let's get the introductions out of the way. My name is Psych. Yeah, I know. What were my parents thinking? He laughed, alone. Still, it turns out that they had incredible foresight. It's something that's weird. As if, all the parents in Equestria have really good, either, the foresight of a god or just really, really lucky. Now, let's see. Still, it turns out they had some incredible foresight, because this is a psychology course, and I'm your tutor. How crazy is that? He laughed again, and still no pony joined in, not even the slightest bit put off. He continued, "You're a quiet bunch, aren't you? Don't worry, I'll soon fix that. Let's do a bit of a game to get to know each other." Finally, the audience reaction. Every pony groaned at the same time. Octavia rolled her eyes in at their immaturity and decided to opine? Yeah. And decided to opine on the subject. "Honestly, what did you expect? This is the first week of the course." Psych shrugged. "She has a point, This is pretty standard." "Doesn't mean we have to like it," grumbled Vinyl, to the murmured assent of the surrounding ponies. "Oh, I'm sure you'll like it just fine, however." He gestured to Octavia and the DJ. "I saw you two talking on the way in, so I'm afraid I'm going to need to move you. There's no point in doing a friend-making activity with somebody you're already friends with, after all." The cellist started to interject. Oh, God. The cello started to interject, then, with the fact that they'd only just met, Vinyl quickly flooded her bags across to an empty desk on the other side of the room. So long, Octavia. My name is Octavia. Whatever. The unicorn tried to her new place. Psych observed the exchange with this. Sorry, I kind of have a little bit of a lisp due to my teeth. Weird, so yeah, you're gonna have to get used to that. Psych observed the exchange with great interest and a small smile. Shaking his head, he once again brought attention back to himself. I want you all to talk to the person next to you and learn as much as you can. Then, in 10 minutes, you will introduce them to the class. The activity ended up taking a lot longer than 10 minutes, as Psych had too much fun listening to all the different conversations. Finally, he stopped them and began the introductions. Most were fairly accurate, with the main issue being pronunciation of the mispronunciation of their names. This is, Vinyl Hatch, a small mare said nervously. Scratch! Vinyl Scratch! Get it right! Hollered the DJ. I'm sorry, she squealed. This is Vinyl Scratch, and she makes electronic music and performs in clubs sometimes. Hang on, I gotta scroll so I can read this a little bit better. Psych stomped the ground in appreciation. Great work, Lily Cub. A general rumble of praise emanated from the class, and an anxious pony sank down. The anxious pony. Alright, take two. A general rumble of praise emanated from the class, and the anxious pony sank down into her chair gratefully. Now, Octavia, how about you introduce your hopefully new friends there? As you wish. The great mare stood up straight. This is Bonbon. She enjoys making... Sorry, frog in my throat. Various kinds of confectionery treats. She is taking this psychology course to help her... Sorry, thought I heard something. Help her learn how to attract more ponies to her store, such as what colors are more likely to attract attention and whatnot. Excellent job, Octavia. Very succeedent. Succeedent? I don't know. Moving on. The mare smiled at the praise and sat back down. Bonbon, would you like to introduce Octavia to us? Oh. With a dark blue mane and pink highlights, Bonbon looked like a stereotypical university student, the kind that would be on advertisements explaining the value of pursuing an education. This is Octavia. She is studying musical theory and history and plays the violin, she said hopefully. Cello, actually. Oh, sorry. Vinyl piped up from across the room. Hang on, I'm doing musical theory too. I haven't seen you at the lecture or the toots. Why, Equestria, would you be doing musical theory? The refined pony replied incredulously. I'm going with that. I'm a DJ. Didn't you hear little Miss Shyface over here? Being a DJ hardly requires extensive education. What the fuck did you just say? The tutor reluctantly stepped in. Easy, you two. I know for a fact that there are 2 musical theory classes. One classical and the other modern. There's no need to start arguing. I'm sure you have something in common, considering you both are musical orientated. Yeah, we both like modern music. Oh, whoops. You like classical, don't you, Octavia? Shame. How does it feel knowing a monkey could be trained to play your cello? I saw it in a circus once. The DJ stuck out her tongue. Modern? All that clanging and thumping is more akin to a primitive pony slapping rocks with a stick. You have more in common with the monkey than with me, you ape. Clearly offended, the dark-maned pony wasn't going to take that insult to her music. Vinyl stood up so quickly that her chair fell over. What did you call me, snob? Rising as well, Octavia held her ground. I called you an ape. At least an ape knows how to loosen up, prude. Oh yes, you know all about being loose, raver hussy. A chorus of gasps accompanied the DJ's jaw dropping in surprise as she quickly recovered and narrowed her eyes before stepping closer to the cellist. All you do is rub strings with a stick and you call me primitive? With sounds you couldn't even comprehend, let alone enjoy. Octavia's front face, Octavia's face scrunched up into a scowl as she stepped even closer. What kind of charlatan are you? It takes skill to make music. Vinyl also moved towards the target of her anger, violently squashing the absurd urge to laugh that she always got when somebody yelled at her. It had made encounters with her high school principal tense, to say the least. Are you calling me a fake? She said dangerously. The sight of a proud gray pony swallowing before replying was satisfying. Clearly, the DJ was still able to intimidate skillfully. I'm not calling you a fake, but I am saying that making your music doesn't take even half the skill as playing the cello does. To make up for lost ground, she took another step forward, brought her face to face with the furious unicorn. With her cheeks flushed from shouting, her nose? Not hose. Octavia isn't a hose. What? And her nose crinkled in distaste. Octavia looked more than a bit amused. Vinyl opened her mouth to say as much when the tuner finally stepped in, clearly thinking she was about to go for the throat. Alright, Lays, let's dial it down a notch. As much as I love having two complete opposites arguing in my class, and believe me, I love it, I feel the need to stop this before it goes too far. Now that the tension was broken, the two mayors looked around and noticed they had captured the rapt attention of the entire class. Vinyl chuckled awkwardly and scratched the back of her head as she returned to her seat, while Octavia merely adjusted her mane and gracefully rejoined her table. Taking back control of the room, Syke clapped his hooves together. Right. This was a fantastic demonstration of conflicting personalities. I hope you were all taking notes. The ponies scrambled to write down anything they could remember. This presents a very unique opportunity for our class. Real-life studies go a lot farther than textbooks, you know. He paused for a moment to collect his thoughts, glancing at the clock on the wall. Well, we don't have time to get into anything right now, but I have an idea for next week. As Pony started packing up, he outlined his master plan. Octavia, I want you and Vinyl to spend time together on the weekend. What? They shouted in unison. The rest of the class cracked up. You want me to spend time with her? Exclaimed Octavia. Yeah, I was planning to have fun this weekend, Vinyl added, earning a glare from across the room. Because, Psyche explained patiently, this is a great opportunity to study. I'm the one stuttering, not the thing. Yeah. This is a great opportunity to study how a relationship can change over time, for better or for worse. We'll compare our notes from today with your behavior on Monday, and draw conclusions and make predictions based on that data. In fact, I may get you two to hang out together rather frequently, so we have more data points. This isn't strictly on the set coursework, but I think it will be a fun little side project. Take psychology, they said. The teacher's nice, they said, muttered Vinyl, violently shoving her notepad into the saddlebag. The tutor chuckled. I'm sure it won't be that bad. Who knows, you might actually find some common ground. I highly doubt that. Octavia latched her bags and lifted them onto her back. What do you suggest we do then? Syke shrugged. Go to a bar, go to watch a movie, walk around town. As long as you're together, it shouldn't matter. Drinking it is, declared DJ. Alcohol will either make you normal or intolerable. I'm willing to take the risk, murmured the cellist as she followed the other ponies out of the room. But I choose where we go, she called over her shoulder. Vinyl figured and trotted after her. As they walked into the boiling sun and started climbing the hill back to the main court, she forced herself to walk next to Octavia. Alright, let's get one thing clear. If I'm going to give you my number, but under no circumstances are you to text or call me unless it's about our plans. Capiche? A pen and paper surrounded in white floated in front of her and began scribbling. Agreed. The same goes for my number as well. As the unicorn tore off some paper and slipped it into the gray mare's bag, she simultaneously held out the pen and pad and stopped for a few seconds so she could write, managing some impressive calligraphy considering the pen was held in her mouth. They kept walking when she finished. Very well. Try not to hand it out to any friends of ill repute. Whatever. I'll call you sometime tomorrow and we'll go from there, yeah? Try to make it at a reasonable hour, would you? Not all of us are used to staying up until 4 a.m. on a cocktail of alcohol and caffeine. Shove it up your flank, Octavia. But that the pair parted ways on the great court, the cellist to her next class, and the DJ to her home. They didn't know it yet, but their lives were already changing, dancing to the tune of conflict, inexorably approaching something that neither of them had ever dreamed of. I hope you guys have liked listening to this. This was the end of chapter 1 of Vinyl Scratch and Octavia, a Brony reading. And I hope you guys will come back around for chapter 2.